Devotion to the Virgin Mary has marked the pontificates of many popes in a profound and personal way. For St. Pope John Paul II, Benedict XVI, Pope Francis, and now for Pope Leo, Mary has not only been a theological reference, but a real spiritual mother. Through the motto, Totus Tuus, totally yours, Pope St. John Paul II emphasized his filial devotion to the Virgin Mary.
When
the Holy Father became bishop in Krakow, he already adopted the motto, Totus Tuus. He used this motto right up until his final days. It was a kind of shorthand expressing that he entrusted himself completely through the hands of the Blessed Virgin Mary to her Son. And we also see this reflected in his testament. This motto has many dimensions, but it is deeply rooted in theology.
Throughout his pontificate, he consistently highlighted her role in the history of salvation in his encyclicals, especially in Redemptoris Mater, helping to shape modern Marian devotion for future generations. He also made his deep relationship with the Virgin Mary visible to the world by installing the famous Mater Ecclesia mosaic on the facade of the Apostolic Palace facing St. Peter's Square.
It originated in 1980, when, during Holy Week, a group of students met with the Holy Father. At one point, one of them remarked that he had been looking at the colonnade and noticed that many saints were represented there, but not the Blessed Virgin Mary. John Paul II replied, "Yes, that needs to be completed. The square should be finished." Some time passed, but after the assassination attempt in 1981, the Holy Father recalled that remark, and work began on placing that mosaic.
His successor, Pope Benedict XVI, showed to be no less devoted to the Mother of God. Born just 10 miles from a famous Marian shrine called Altötting, which has shaped the faith in Germany's southern region of Bavaria for centuries, Joseph Ratzinger spent his youth around this area. He frequently said that the threads of his life always led back to Altötting. For the German Pope, this place was a spiritual home. Among the hundreds of churches throughout the city of Rome, one stands out as the most important one, dedicated to the Virgin Mary, the world's oldest Marian shrine, the early Christian Basilica of St. Mary Major. Situated on the summit of the Esquiline Hill, it was the beloved refuge of Pope Francis, his spiritual point of reference. In his 12 years as Pope, the Argentine pontiff visited this basilica as many as 126 times to pray before the icon of Salus Populi Romani. It is also where he chose to be buried. Pope Leo XIV is also profoundly devoted to the Virgin Mary. Elected on May the 8th on the Marian feast of Our Lady of Pompeii, it was no surprise that Pope Leo chose to make a one-day pastoral journey to Pompeii and Naples to celebrate the one-year anniversary of his election at the Shrine of Our Lady of the Rosary. There, he once more turned in prayer to Mary, giving thanks and entrusting his mission to her maternal care.
Exactly 1 year ago, when the ministry of successor of Peter was entrusted to me, it was precisely the day of the supplication to the Virgin of the Holy Rosary of Pompeii. Therefore, I had to come here to place my service under the protection of the Holy Virgin.
His devotional relationship with Mary, however, goes back to his youth and his years of Augustinian spiritual formation.
Entering the
convent in Chicago as a student and as a candidate for religious life, as an Augustinian he was immediately formed in devotion to the Blessed Virgin Mary under the title of Mother of Good Counsel. He therefore grew up with this devotion and under the gaze of the most gentle image.
Our Lady of Good Counsel remained his beloved protector. and her ancient sanctuary at Genazzano, near Rome, entrusted to the Augustinian fathers since the 13th century, became a place of spiritual refuge for him.
Quando è diventato frate, quando è stato a Roma come studente.
When he became a friar, and when he was in Rome as a student, he naturally took the opportunity to come here. But what is also beautiful and important is that, I believe, every time he received significant responsibilities, when he was twice elected Prior General of the Order, when he was appointed bishop, and when he was created cardinal, he immediately came here to pray to the Madonna.
Qui a pregare la Madonna.
Just 2 days after his election, Pope Leo returned to the shrine as the successor of St. Peter, to the great joy of the people of Genazzano and his fellow Augustinians. To this day, they continue to pray every day before the image of Our Lady of Good Counsel for their friend and Pope and for his Petrine mission.